Hello, welcome to another wonderful VOD. We got a weekly seed we're starting up here on CT Rando, aka the Rando Dalton Imperial. So, what have we got going on here today? We got a three-way matchup: Grey Goo Glitch versus Phone versus Pseudo Arc. For settings, we've got Gate Shuffle, so any gate you go to could potentially lead to any other gate. You could go through the fair, end up in 65 million BC. You never really know. You'll have to solve the seed from there, figure out what the right path to get through it is. That also means that there's no guaranteed way to get to end of time. One of the gates will lead there, but you do not know which one. So we'll have to find that as well. We've got no starting epoch, so you can't freely travel between all the time periods at the start. You've got to find a way there on foot, go through the gates, see where they lead you, see what's available to you, see if you can solve it. Random tech order, that's if you play Jets of Time, that's pretty much the same setting. You just have unpredictable power spikes. You could start with like a 20 MP tech. You could start with a 1 MP tech. Typically, with that setting, it's a little bit quicker, a little bit easier than doing it in a MP type order, which gives you techs in order of power. For the loot, we got 75% shuffle, 25% random. What that means is the vanilla loot pool is going to be 75% of what you'll find in the chests. They'll be scattered throughout. There's no special rules as far as what goes where, so you could find a rainbow in your first chest. That also means going to harder dungeons. Doesn't necessarily mean you get better loot. So you got to think about like chest density, even going to some of the weirder places like Fiona's Villa or something just for the free loot there. Could be a potential play. 25% random just means 25% of the chests, they can be just any item. So you might find like duplicates of prism specs or other things. We've also got tech level treasures. So once in a while, when you open a chest, you'll see Chrono's tech level increased. It'll give you your next tech. We've got enough of those scattered throughout the run that you could, in theory, get a character's entire tech list just from opening chests. Realistically, that's probably not going to happen, but it's a possibility. Omen, one objective. What that means is if you've done one objective and you have flight, you can finish the game by going through the Omen. Little asterisk with that is 2 objectives last village means that most of the time you're not going to be able to get flight until you have 2 objectives. This last village will get you to the Blackbird. Blackbird gets you flight unless you find Jets of Time. Even then, with the Jets of Time, you still have to get to the Omen, which requires last village access. The only way to get last village access without 2 objectives is to do the Ocean Palace. So realistically, an early Omen is probably not on the table. It can happen. 4 objectives bucket, of course, if you find End of Time, whether through gate that leads there. In the vanilla game, that would be Proto Dome, but in Gate Shuffle, it could be any one of the 9 gates. You'll get the bucket. You can go fight Lavos that way. He is vanilla power, so realistically, you want a party level 50 or so. If you're feeling a little more confident, maybe 45, something like that would work. 5 objectives, 1999 time gauge. That is nice because you can circumvent the need to find End of Time. You don't need to go through Omen. You don't need to fight Hard Lavos in the Ocean Palace. That also skips the Shell, of course. So it's a little bit of a time save if you can do really quick 2 objectives back to back at the end. So let's get into it. Little 2-minute setup here we're going to do. While I'm here, let's look at the objectives. We've got Reptite Lair, Genodome, Omen Mega, which is the first boss of the Black Omen, right at the entrance there. Johnny Race, Sunken Desert, Eris Dome, Epoch Boss, and Mount Woe. Depending on what your objectives are, you'll have different key items that you'll want to get, different characters. There's different lengths to all the checks, different considerations for going to each one. Reptite Lair, for example, if you have Dactyl, you can go there. If you have Ayla, you can go there. In Gate Shuffle, you of course have to find 65 million BC first. Genodome, you need Future, Flight, and Robo to do it. Omen Mega, you need Last Village access and Flight. Johnny Race, you need the Bike Key and Chrono to do it. Sunken Desert, you need Zeal access, you need Luca, you need Robo. Eris Dome, you need Future access and you need a Seed. It's a two-part check there. Epoch boss, you need either Jets of Time or you need Last Village access to do the Blackbird dungeon. It's the second boss of that dungeon. You can get an objective for the Blackbird as well. So you may have to make a choice once in a while. Do I do the entire thing or do I fish for the Jets of Time? Mount Woe, you just need 12,000 access. You'll see we've got some different appearances to the trackers. We're just using different layouts. I'm not going to like manually track anything here. We're going to get started here in a second here. We'll kind of go over the players. Grey Goo Glitch is the current person working on the tracker. They're pretty new to the game. Learning quick, doing well. They're wanting to get into like a lot of events, marathons, showcases, which we really appreciate. We're certainly gonna do what we can to help with that. Phone just plays the game a lot, makes a lot of suggestions, highly engaged, helps people, whatever. PseudoArc is the developer. Very strong player, knows the ins and outs of the randomizer better than anybody, certainly. So we got a robo start. As you can see, we've all got our own palettes. There's a tool we have for that. It's very easy to mess with, get your own kind of custom character looks. So a typical first play, we'll go to the fair. We'll go to this tutorial house. There's like 3 items here we can get for free. We found a siren and a tech level increase for Chrono. Chrono was at the fair on Grey Goo Glitch's side. We need Bike Key to recruit him. If you talk to the person at the fair, they'll tell you what you need for that. First item, bent sword. Phone looking at some shops. We see Dalton at the fair. Not something you want to fight at level 1. He's got high evasion. With no heals, his iron orb's going to drop you to like 1 HP. Eventually, the burp's going to kill you. Not really like a strong case for fighting him. Doing some initial shopping, Grey Goo Glitch takes the first gate, immediately finds 12,000 BC. That means, we could instantly do Mount Woe if we wanted to. Kind of interesting that you can go through that gate despite it being in a pink pyramid. It's technically sealed by the logic of the game, but just because it's gate shuffle, you can't enter a gate and then go nowhere. So just mostly like a visual thing, I guess. Looking at some techs, Robo Tackle last. Uzi Punch was a strong start at 15. So if we can find like a good Robo weapon, we'll be off to a good start here. In this randomizer, you do start with no money, so you have to kind of go through, find some stuff to sell to really get your stuff online. We see a seed for the jerky trade check, and we've got a champ badge, which is an upgraded version of the hero medal for sale at the snail stop. Phone's video is looking a little funny right now, so we've kind of diverged a little bit, not in any meaningful way, just different kind of opening orders. But we're all kind of working towards, do we look for like our first character? Do we check where the gates lead? Do we go ahead and try to do Mount Woe? These are kind of the questions we're asking ourselves right now. Grey Goo Glitch wisely opts for the free Magus there at the prison. I say free, but you have to do an entire dungeon to get him. It's kind of tedious. If you can avoid going to the prison just for a character, you probably should. But in this kind of flag set, it's probably a good idea just because there's no guarantee that you'll get access to 600, the cathedral, the burrow recruits, things of that nature. So, especially with a robo start, he's a slow character. He's particularly weak to magic. It's good to get someone like Magus that kind of fills in like the gaps in his abilities. So we got gremlins in the prison. It looks like Pseudo is also going for the prison. Once again, you can see his different palettes. Phone looks like he's gonna go through Zeal, maybe set up like the desert. Get some of the the shops, the secret rooms. Whatever else is up here, the new scratch point, the random, tab items. The items could be anything, but in the vanilla game, they're tabs. So a little bit more of a slow start, but maybe, hoping for like a really good item, taking a path that maybe other people didn't consider. Pseudo looting looting the castle before going into the prison. Possibly a good play on his part. Oh, sorry. He could find something really good in these chests that can, really get his run kick-started. We see a dinosaur at the Omnicrone spot. It's a Gigasaur, which is a scary enemy. It's one of the strongest enemies in the entire game. Very high damage, good defenses, pretty fast attacks as well, but just because, everything's level 1 right now. Even though it did 40 damage with a single attack, Grey Goo Glitch does fine, gets through it. So Phone finds a Sunshades, it looks like. Not super helpful at level 1, but, it's an item that's going to carry you through the entire run, more or less. We're going to see if the new scratch point was worth it. Pseudoark, of course, opting for the prison break as well. Now you can get out of the prison quicker if you go for the execution scene. Another tech level for Chrono for Phone. So if we ever recruit Chrono, he's gonna have quite a few techs as soon as we get him. Anyway, yeah, waiting out the execution, it is faster. You'll have to kiss those 4 chests in the basement goodbye. You could go back and get them, but if you're going for the prison break early, I don't know why you would go back for that. So Phone looks like he's gonna maybe try for Mount Woe. With Robo, it's kind of a coin toss. If you get like an enemy like Golem that's really fast and strong, you might not be able to hack it. But a potential good play. There's rebels on Mount Woe if you can get to them. A lot of loot. It's also an objective, which everybody's going to be probably considering going there at some point. It's the only free one on the board as far as I can see. We do need objectives to get to the end game. We see some decent equipment at this shop. Probably not a lot worth going for. But we can kind of fill in some gaps. Like blackmail is really nice to have. Black vest, bandana, to kind of shore up the speed a little bit. It looks like Pseudo is just running for the exit. Grey Goo Glitch going for the semi-secret loot here, climbing down the castle tower, going through the holes in the wall, get an extra 3 pieces of equipment there. Which, if it's something cool for Magus or Robo, Elixir is nice. You don't want to not have elixirs and need them for sure. Phone running into some Megasaurs here. The lesser dinosaur. At level 1, like a lot of enemies' defenses are reduced, so stuff that would normally take magic or require lightning to shock it or something is not going to be the case. It's mostly soft lock protection to be able to get through bosses that maybe you're forced to go a certain way to progress, but you don't have what the vanilla requirements would be to get through them. Speaking of, we've got Retinite here. Not the boss you want to see if you've got a slow character, no magic. He's got that baseline evasion if you don't use magic. So this while it's not a strong boss, it may be a brick wall anyway. Just for the mechanics. If phone can get a hit in, it's one thing, but this could be an exercise in frustration, and especially if the core goes down, we're in a lot of trouble. Pseudo just one encounter behind Grey Goo Glitch at this point. Phone resetting out of Mount Woe, so we've kind of set ourselves back a little bit there. Phone is definitely dooming right now. We're this far into the run, and he hasn't really accomplished much. So we're probably gonna see a rethink. Maybe go through Hecarim Cave. Maybe check the prison for Magus or whatever. He still doesn't know that there's a character there. We could check other gates, see where they go. Looks like he's going for the Hecarim. We've got a Nisbel 2 at the end of the prison here. So it's, of course, boss shuffle. And, like I was saying about the defenses, he may, in the vanilla game, require lightning to lower the defenses. But at this, early stage of the run, because there's no guarantee that you would ever get lightning, you can shock him with other elements. His defenses aren't super high, even if you don't have magic. So, depending on, what their damage looks like, they may be able to just Uzi punch the boss to death, like if they have a good weapon for it. Looks like Phone is going straight to the boss. We got Zeal, which... arguably one of the more annoying bosses, especially like if you're used to Jets of Time. Well, Phone just one-shot it. He's got a very good weapon. I think it was a Terra Arm with Doom on it that he found in Hecarim Cave. So, he's kind of clawing back a little bit of time here, compared to these other two. So we'll see what key item we get here. Phone could run it back on the Ret Knight if he gets like an elemental thing to reduce the Ret Knight's evasion. He could very easily one-shot that boss. So interestingly, we've got a Ruby Knife from Hecarim Cave. When you pair that with Magus, Magus can open the door to the Ocean Palace. He functions as a pendant charge for that. Just for the simple reason that, being a member of the Zeal royal family, being the prophet, he can open those doors. It's not a problem. And of course, the Ruby Knife is needed to complete the Ocean Palace. And like I mentioned earlier, completing the Ocean Palace, it'll get you to Last Village. It'll get you to Flight. It, unlocks the Omen for you. So nobody knows it yet, but that is a possible play we can make. Go through Hecarim, go through the prison, go straight to Ocean Palace. Ocean Palace, compared to, what you may be used to, the vanilla game Jets, it can have two different bosses, which can lead to some interesting scenarios. Something like a Zeal and a Nisbel at the same time is very sketchy. You get your HP reduced to 1, then immediately AoE'd. Thankfully, from what I've been able to see, like most combinations of bosses you can do, there's just, varying levels of difficulty with that. Grey Goo Glitch is kind of exploring. We've got the Boats of Time flag enabled. So what that means is you can get to the other landmasses in 1000 AD with a boat that you wouldn't otherwise be able to access. If you have the gate key, you can do that for 600 as well. So you don't need Flight for like Giant's Claw. You don't need it for Aussie Fort. You don't need it for Cyrus Grave. You just take a boat there. Carpenter Wife is not a key item check in these settings, but it can be something good. It was money. You don't hate money. So Phone, as of right now, he's the only one that knows you can go through Ocean Palace. He saw the Magus there. He's already got the Ruby Knife. Pseudo opting for the Mount Woe play. Completely understandable. He's got 2 characters. It's an objective. It's one of the few checks that we know we have access to right now. The other being Hecarim Cave. Normally in this randomizer, like you've got a lot of options from the beginning, and every check you do opens another option, so you've always kind of got a choice to make. Phone going the wrong direction here. Grey Goo Glitch going through Hecarim, so they might be the first one to actually get access to Ocean Palace. I got the Doom Terror Arm as well. So we'll see what happens. They could check the other gates, see where they go, or they could go back to 12,000, do Mount Woe, do Ocean Palace, whatever the case may be. I kind of glossed over it, but we've also got enemy shuffle, not just boss rando. We've got mini boss shuffle. So there's really no predictability aside from like rubbles and similar enemies that don't move. You can fight anything anywhere, more or less. There's some exceptions to that, but it's mostly unpredictable. So Pseudo probably gonna have no problem getting through the Retinite. He doesn't have that Doom Terror Arm that the other 2 have because he hasn't been through Hecarim Cave. Grey Goo Glitch, not really utilizing the Doom on the Terra Arm. Possibly didn't see it, I'm not sure. Opting for magic instead, which works. It might take a little bit longer than it took Phone. Of course, we've got Dual Tech Magus enabled as well. We've usually got that on by default, although it does make Magus a pretty reliable character. We just like playing with it, it's fun. There's no guarantee, even with that Magus is going to be any better of a teammate than like a Luca or a Marl or Ayla, whatever the case may be. They might just roll better techs. They might have better synergy with your primary damage dealer or whatever. So we'll kind of look for a divergence here. We'll see, does Grey Goo Glitch go to Mount Woe? Does Phone go to Mount Woe? Does somebody dive the early Ocean Palace? Pseudo avoiding the rebels, possibly just looking to get through this check as quickly as possible. The implication of that is, you may not get a lot of techs, but if you don't need them, if you've already got power you're comfortable with, you can wait for the techs. Save like a lot of time and frustration fighting rebels that may or may not actually die. The rats on Phone screen being reduced to atoms. Just some animation quirks. If you play an invalid animation on an enemy type that doesn't normally have that animation, it produces some interesting results. Mostly comedic. Very rarely does like something actually break the game, at least animation wise. So Grey Goo Glitch opting for the Mount Woe. May go for the rebels, may not, but almost certainly committing to the entire dungeon, just for the fact that it's an objective, and they may not know what else they can do at this point in the run. We still have those 2 unexplored gates. We've got the snail stop item, which if we can get to 600 leads us to something, but as of right now, none of the runners have any idea where those other 2 gates go. So they're going with the sure thing. So phone also opting for the extra loot here, especially early on. It's really nice to just check everything, just to get your stuff online. You know, you got a magic ring there, you got a Giga arm, which if we didn't have the Terror arm would be really good. Pseudo, he got a Dream Reaper, which is a DS item. It's a slightly improved version of the Doom Sickle. It has a different effect on the DS version of the game, 4x crit, I think. However, we've got effect shuffle on our weapons, so it rolled actually triple sevens, which is a special effect from Marl on the DS. Any physical damage that Magus deals is going to do exactly 777 damage. It doesn't matter what your stats are, what the enemy's defenses are, anything. It will do triple sevens, which is really good early game. It's really good for characters that otherwise don't have a way to deal damage. Don't have the right damage type or whatever for the situation. Goes through defenses. Especially good on Chrono. If he has Confuse, it hits 4 times for triple sevens each time. Very, very strong. Anytime you see triple sevens on a Chrono, you might as well lean into it. It's good enough, to get through the entire run with. There's potentially stronger stuff in the late game that'll do more damage than that, but it's very reliable. So I was thinking Grey Goo Glitch may have been going through the Ocean Palace, but they've noped out. Maybe gonna see where those gates go. Got a Mega backtracking through Hecarim Cave, which is cool. Pseudo Arc gets a Jerky from Mount Woe, which it's not necessarily like the Doom pill that it might be in Jets. Like it still leads to a key item and a peekable one at that. Also, you could do the bridge with it. And, the bridge often isn't worth anything, but it can be an objective. The boss there could be rewarding. If you're needing like levels or something. So it looks like the gates have trolled us today. We've got a very silly seed going on here. Those 2 gates just lead back to 1000 AD in a loop. Since this seed was run, we've also put in a feature where in shuffle gates, they always lead to a different time period. Situations like this one where, oh my gosh, where you can go through one gate, get to 12,000, which is essentially like the mid to late game progression area. And then the other 2 lead to 1,000. That pretty much creates a linear seed where you're, forced down like a very specific path to progress. Having said that, your ability to get through that linear path, you can still express like some creativity, some skill there. Additionally, once you get flight, the entire run kind of, opens up to you. You could go to basically any location. You could go through Black Omen. You could go through, do Genodome, whatever you want to do. So, while the first, 45 minutes, we may see, everybody kind of doing the same thing. Once it opens up, we'll kind of see what people opt to do from there. As of right now, Pseudo, he's gone through Mount Woe. He's done with that. He's just now finished Hecarim Cave. So he's gonna get his ruby knife, and he's gonna have some idea of what he should do next, which would be Ocean Palace. Phone, he's kind of read the writing on the wall as well. He's gonna go through Ocean Palace. He's gonna want his flight access. He doesn't know where those other two gates go, and I don't think Pseudo does either, but we'll see. You know, if he does go through that gate, you know, it's not going to give him anything. He's going to immediately know, hey, let's go Ocean Palace. Let's get into the rest of the run. So as of right now, Phone are arguably a little bit ahead of Pseudo, a little bit ahead of Grey Goo, just for the fact that he's gonna, you know, find the right progression path. However, he hasn't done Mount Woe, so he's not necessarily like at an advantage. He'd still need to do it, you know, for the objective to kind of be on par. And Pseudo, you know, he's gone through Mount Woe. He's a higher level. He's got that 777 weapon, which is really good. Grey Goo Glitch, of course, is going to have that weapon as well. So it's a distinct advantage for those two over Phone. So something I always kind of say with this randomizer is you may, you know, go down a path that maybe doesn't get you what you want, but you're always progressing towards the goal. Like you've still got to make it to high levels for Lavos, find all the loot that'll allow you to get through it. So it's not so much a question of, you know, find these 3 key items, get a bunch of levels and win. Like there's, you know, there's something you're building towards. You know, there's a party to figure out. There's you know, gear to get through it. Speaking of, Phone finds a Vigil hat, so at least for these 2 characters, he's got, you know, full status immunity, which is really nice. That's one of the components of finishing the game. Completely optional, but it does make it, you know, that much easier to never be affected by status. Every form of Lavos has, you know, different status ailments they can inflict. And wasting turns on the last boss can prove very dangerous. So in this randomizer, I haven't mentioned it, but oopsie, Phone misses that skip there. There'll be little flames where enemy encounters would be. The basic philosophy is if it's a mandatory encounter in the base game, but you can run from it, you can just opt to not go for the fight whatsoever. So saves like a lot of time on, you know, just tedious stuff. You know, if you want to take the fight, you can take the fight, but if you don't want to take it, you don't have to endure like 15 seconds of animation running from it. You know, so you can do, you know, more checks per minute, essentially. You know, in a randomizer like this where there are more checks, more dungeons to go through, whatever. More key items to consider, things of that nature, objectives. The ability to just go through them quickly helps a lot to keep the times down. You know, Grey Goo Glitch, kind of going through the same thing. We got a funny elevator here. We got 3 enemies with the same sprite. Jin and Barguest is one of those exceptions where because those 2 enemies like don't function when they're not both there, there's not really like a good reason to ever move them. You know, if you decouple them, they're not really an enemy at that point. Like the Jin will basically, I think, be invulnerable because you can't break the shield. Not much benefit to it. Rubbles, turrets, the eyeball guys in the Black Omen, they're all static as well. Just because like a repeatable, you know, 3 rock fight or something would just completely break like the tech point progression of the game. So there's also you know, other things like maybe you would get a rubble that auto locks your party with an enemy that, you know, requires magic to kill, and that would just be impossible. So for the good of the game, just not letting those guys move. It also, again, makes you consider, like, do I go through Mount Woe to get more techs? Do I take extra fights on the Blackbird to get techs? Even Black Omen, if you're feeling like a sicko, you could fight the eyeball guys, which, if you can kill them, are probably like the best tech point gains per fight. Phone gets through the elevator. Pseudo is on his way to it. Grey Goo glitch. Getting the Dream Reaper with the 777 damage. I'm gonna fight that dragon tank and then almost certainly also go through the Ocean Palace. Good skips for Phone, of course. Pseudo also making quick work of this. So Phone's gonna be our first look into the twin boss. Pseudo hits the exact same enemy Phone did. So flying enemies, they have funny hitboxes. When I say that, hitboxes are static. They do not change for any reason. But flying enemies, they're their sprites are not where the enemy is. Like the actual location of the enemy is like the ground beneath where flying enemies are. So you can walk through a flying enemy like their sprite and be fine, but if you walk below them, you'll pull them. So in a kind of intricate place like that, where like the exact location of the sprite matters a lot, that staircase where they're jumping up and down, very easy to misjudge. So for the twin fight, we got North Cape, Magus, and Hecarim. Again, because we're still pretty low level at this point in the game, Hecarim's defenses are not as high as they would normally be. So Phone pretty much one-shots it with a 1400 damage Uzi punch. North Cape Magus also doesn't even have that much HP at this point, so he's going to get one-shot too, and we're through the twin fight. So thankfully, because we had a lot of damage, that wasn't really much of a threat. The bosses are going to be a little bit stronger for Pseudo and Grey Goo, just because they've done that Mount Woe. So they're going to have like 7 extra levels compared to what Phone just fought. Anytime you kill a boss, you get 3 scaling levels. You do an objective, you get 3 scaling levels. You get a key item, you get 1 scaling level. So a 1400 HP boss, you think like maybe slightly less than like a vanilla Hecarim would be, so probably like a level 12 boss or so. So if you add 7 levels to that, that's level 19. That's closer to like the Magus's castle enemies or Nizbel or something. So you can expect them to have like 4,000 HP possibly. Not like a big step up in difficulty, especially because, Pseudo and Grey Goo are going to have like the Dream Seeker. They're going to be higher level from doing that extra check. Phone demonstrating hard Lavos. It is a path to the end game. If you go through the Ocean Palace and you kill hard Lavos, you win. But hard Lavos is hard. He's significantly stronger than the actual Lavos, and you're meant to just lose to him in the vanilla game. But if you do get through it, you've kind of proven that you have what it takes to win the game, so we just let you win. I also have a rule. Nobody ever takes me up on it, but there's a secret boss in the game, the Dream Devourer. You can access it through the right telepod at the fair. It's from the DS port, PC port, mobile ports, anything made in the last decade or two. It's got the exact same stats, the exact same script as the the original version of that boss. So if you can kill that, you win. Like it is way harder than the the base Lavos. It's In terms of complexity, harder than hard Lavos. They have different like considerations for whether you would do one or the other. Like hard Lavos is a very fast boss that does a lot of physical damage. So if you have like a really bulky party, you can kind of brute force him. Dream Devourer, you know, you want a lot of stuff like Shadow Absorb, high magic defense. You want both good magic and physical damage for its different phases. It's got like a lot of highly specific requirements to get through. But you can also kind of cheese it by overflowing its HP. If you can make it to phase 2, it'll start absorbing magic damage and taking like a lot of extra damage from physical. So if you can do like a combination physical magic dual tech, it'll actually absorb like a very large amount of damage. And if it goes above like 32,768 HP, it'll die. Which the boss itself has 32,000 HP, I think. So if you heal it up to full and then heal it again, you win. But so we see 4,100 HP on Hecarim here. So about what we expected. Northgate Magus is going to be a little bit weaker. We see Pseudo Arc hitting for 2,212 damage with that Uzi Punch. So just a wee bit stronger than Phone was. Phone going for the Blackbird. Grey Goo going through the Ocean Palace. So it'll take a couple more hits for Pseudo and Grey Goo Glitch to get through it, but it shouldn't be a problem. They've still got, you know, really good damage, relatively speaking. So Phone is doing a setup for a quick Blackbird. The way that works essentially is you take the character in your first party slot, you leave their equipment on, you take, you know, your second or third character, ideally one of them is Ayla, just because, you know, she can fight regardless of equipment. You take their equipment off, and, you know, if you're wanting to play it safe, you can go to like the very bottom vent in the upper section and see like what the two bosses are going to be. They'll have like a little conversation while they're getting the flying machine ready. So you can know, you know, what gear you want to put on, you know, how you want to handle transitioning from the first boss to the second boss, that kind of thing. Anyway, so yeah, you'll keep. So we got R series and Giga Gaia. So if we're looking at this, we're thinking like, you know, our series is first. Yeah, we can just do some AoE and that boss will die after a couple turns probably. Giga Gaia, we want to be high HP going into the fight because he's going to open with a lot of damage. If we have Shadow Absorb, Fire Absorb, things of that nature, magic defense generally, that's going to help our success rate a lot with that. Pseudo is through the Ocean Palace. He's probably going to be looking at the Blackbird as well. So the reason we unequip the second and third character, I keep coming back to this and getting interrupted, but you can open this chest. It has all of your items in it, so anything that wasn't equipped, any consumables, you can get it out of that chest. So realistically, you only actually need to get your first character's equipment back. If they can solo this fight, then you can equip, you know, your other characters from this chest. So if you take all your good stuff off, you can just put it right back on. You don't need to go through the full dungeon. A little bit of a riskier play, but, you know, if you have a strong character at the front that can get through these enemies, it is significantly quicker. So Pseudo opting to put Magus in the front of the party. Looks like he's doing the exact same thing Phone is doing. He's unequipping his second character. He's going to go for the fast clear. So I would say, you know, Phone, he's going to have the advantage getting flight first, almost certainly, but He still hasn't done Mount Woe, so Pseudo is looking pretty good here. He didn't waste a lot of time resetting to Ret Knight at the start of the run. So, kind of a big decision point on the Blackbird. There's a lot of really good grind here. Phone's kind of looking through his tech list, determining like, do I actually want to do this grind or not? These turrets are essentially rebels with lasers on their heads. Very good tech point gains. Slightly harder to kill, but it looks like Phone's feeling confident in what he's got. He's just going to go straight for the bosses. Contemplating what techs to use here. Looks like we're going to do some Ice 2, maybe Shock afterwards if we have to. So our series may be a little bit stronger than you would be accustomed to. If they do live through like your initial attacks, they will do a bunch of punches, which actually hurt quite a bit. If you don't have a good AoE, you have to really be careful how you take them down. Once 2 of them are down, they start doing a counterattack on every hit. And the counterattack hits hard and hits your entire party, so if you kill 2, then you immediately AoE. You're gonna get countered 4 times, and it might just kill you outright. You have to be kind of careful. Think about like, do I get them all low and then AoE them together? Do I get them all within 1 shot and kill them off one by one? Do I just eat 1 counter at a time? Do I throw shields up and eat all the counters to get through it quickly? There's a lot to consider, which I think is cool. So Pseudo is just about to the wings here. He's gonna get the item chest. He's gonna equip his Robo again. Giga Gaia is giving Phone the business, but I think he'll be fine. Grey Goo Glitch coming to the conclusion of the elevator. About to fight their twin fight. Something I didn't mention because I like to ramble about random things. The North Cape down here at the last village is a character check. It is gated behind a boss, but it's also peekable. So if you talk to that spark and like you see a character teleport behind you and say "Nothing personnel, kid," that's going to be the character you recruit if you kill the boss. You kind of like this because you know immediately if the boss is worth doing. If there is a character there, the answer is almost certainly yes, because that character will be level 37, just like Magus was in the base game. So, it's often a good strategy to find a way to get to the last village as quickly as possible, whether through objectives, Ocean Palace. If you got like a level 15 party and you recruit a level 37 character, that's a very big power boost. Additionally, any recruit you get after that is scaled to the level of whoever's at the front of your party, for both levels and techs. So, Phone kind of on the ropes here. Anyway, the characters. So if you get that early level 37 character, or if you go through like the Blackbird and you get all your techs or something from the turret guys, any recruit after that point, you're gonna be like level 37 plus. They're gonna have all their techs. It's a very good way to give yourself like a good mid-game power spike. However, there was no character here this time, so we're kind of stuck on duos still. Phone has just now broken out of the linear start, and we're gonna see what he does with it. Suddenly, the whole world is open to him. Pseudo gets through his R series. Grey Goo Glitch headed for the twin fight. It looks like Phone taking advantage of his Omen access here. The objective is right inside this door. It's the first boss. And we just gotta get through these fly traps first. These enemy types are generally kind of painful. You know, some of them do AoE heals. Some of them counter with a sleep attack. It can take a minute. We've certainly seen worse enemies here. I don't want to go through the horrors of what I've experienced, but there have been some situations where like it was just impossible to get through. An additional thing you might notice here, Magus is nowhere to be found. So when Phone unequipped Magus to go into the Blackbird, he put an item called the Pacifist on Magus because that was his only item he had to put on. What that does is it removes your character from combat. It's really good for stuff like Doom, or if you want to do like a solo character run or something. The character still gets experience as if they were like recruited outside the party. They don't get tech points, but what happened here was when you complete the Blackbird, it will automatically equip whatever your characters had equipped going into it. So if you do the item chest method, you know, you'll have to fix their equipment as soon as you get past the Epoch fight. Otherwise, they're gonna have crap equipment again. So we'll see if Pseudo remembers that. See if he plays this a little bit better than Phone did. So we got a Mud Imp at the Mega Mutant spot for Phone's first objective. Slightly stronger than you might be used to. They might not necessarily die in a single hit, so you'll see some counterattacks, some mechanics. They don't hit super hard, but they just attack so often that it can get quite scary. Grey Goo Glitch using Robo Tackle, which unfortunately does not benefit from on-hit effects like Doom. It functions more like an Ayla tech. So this fight might take slightly longer than it could have. Pseudo Art going to 680 immediately, going for the Cathedral, possibly looking to fill out his roster. Magus is very, very close to death here. Thankfully, if you can just kill the Mud Imp, the fight will end. Very good magic damage on Grey Goo Glitch there, 1,000 apiece on these bosses. So we got some Bashers at the front of Cathedral. Some of the easiest enemies in the game, being from Blackbird at a point where you're at your lowest, you don't have Chrono anymore, which, especially in like a vanilla playthrough, he's probably the one that had all your tabs and good equipment. So they're tuned to be a little bit easier than you expect. I got a Vigil Hat and a Magus Tech level as soon as we entered the Cathedral. So Pseudo Arc is pretty happy there. Phone gets his first objective. So if he wanted to, he could go through the Black Omen right now and get to the end game, assuming he, I think that was another Magus Tech level for Pseudo. That's awesome. He's smiling right now. Got a Valor Crest, which is a DS item for Ayla. Gives you counterattacks and 20% crit chance, which is awesome. Especially if you have like a nice, crit effect, 4 times crit or something like that. You love to see it. Phone opting instead for the Protodome. So we'll see who he gets. Pseudo gonna sweep through 600, it looks like. Pick up some free stuff. Check the burrow, check, some Fiona chest, things of that nature. See if we get a key item here, see if we get a character. Grey Goo Glitch is now on to the last village. So phone gets a Marl at Protodome, which is nice. We had that awesome siren that we picked up earlier. Tech wise, her best tech, maybe ice 2. I saw 15 ice 2, which is pretty good for a lot of things. Realistically, ice is the one I prefer. It's really good for like ice tackle, ice sword, which have strong multipliers on them. Ice generally does more damage than ice 2 anyway, just because it's a single target tech. And in the vanilla game, the cost is a little bit less. So Phone's got a full party. We'll see what he's going to do with it. Going through the sewers, going to get some loot here. One thing I haven't mentioned yet, Atropos is a mini boss. You can find her in one of like the 6 mini boss locations. If you kill her, Robo gets 3 speed and 10 magic defense, which is kind of not optional for Lavos. Like you really need to find that, and there she is. So mini boss wise, you've got like the Fair Gato, you've got the sewers, you've got Zeal Palace, you got the first 2 bosses of Ozzy Fort, are mini bosses. I probably forgot one, but that's kind of the gist of it. Those wacky enemies that you kind of fight in random locations that are stronger than a normal enemy, but are not overly threatening. So you can find any of those bosses in any of those other locations. Ozzy Fort is a notable one because when you get to the trio fight, whatever boss is there is going to have those 2 mini bosses as minions. So you can get like, let's say Nizbel 2 plus Crawley plus, I don't know, Dalton as a fight. We've had some weird combinations that have certainly led to some challenges. If you're worried about missing out on the Aussie trio, I don't, because you can just find them in another location, as we've seen. I think they're at the North Cape. So we got the Robo ribbon for Phone, which is a nice little advantage there. Pseudo finds a Berserker on Death Peak, which is actually a more useful item than you would maybe think it would be. Looks like Phone's gonna get it too. Like you got a lot of opportunities for really strong weapons in the early game. Like for example, the Seed. We found the Terra Arm. It had really high damage. It had hit plus 10, which is awesome for Robo because he likes to miss. It also had Doom on it, so if Robo was soloing, he'd do 3 times normal attack damage with a Terra Arm at a low level. The Berserker, of course, gives you a shield and 50% bonus damage as well, so like a Berserk Doom auto attack with a solo character is actually stronger than a 4 times crit. It's a very fast animation. It can just absolutely shred enemies sometimes. If it crits, God help us all. It's gonna hit so hard. So there's things you can lean into like that. Even like 777s. Some weapons have a chance to have like a guaranteed crit at the cost of MP. You could do like 5 MP for a guaranteed crit, or 20 for a 4 times crit, which essentially gives like a confuse to whatever character has it, more or less. That's about like the level of damage it does at the cost of 20 MP, but it's nice to have the option. So Grey Goo Glitch, doing a more conventional Blackbird strategy, kind of going through the full dungeon. Phone going for Reptite Lair, which is going to be his second objective. So from what I can remember, oh sorry, it'll be the third objective for him because he's also done Epoch Boss. So that would put everybody at 2 objectives once Grey Goo Glitch gets through this Blackbird. Phone will be at 3 between Mega Mutant, Reptite Lair, and the Epoch Boss. I've got Masamune here. Not overly threatening. He hits pretty hard. If you let him live long enough, he'll do his big charge thing that's dangerous. But we're doing Berserker Robo, so I don't know. We'll probably be okay. Pseudo going for Aristome. So what else have we got on the table here that we can do? Genodome is an option. That would put Phone at 4 objectives, Pseudo at 3. Omen Mega Mutant, unfortunately, once you leave Last Village, if you don't have like time gauge access to 12,000, which we don't, you can't really go back there. You know, not with your wonderful flying machine anyway, which is kind of an oversight. I meant to have that in the settings that you would have Dark Ages access as soon as you got your epoch, but I goofed that up. It's now default behavior in the randomizer though, so we don't need to worry about that. Masa and Mune, as the fight goes on, they hit harder and harder, as Marl just found out. She's gonna miss out on some levels here, unfortunately. Pseudo finds Nizbel in Aristome. He doesn't have the seed, so he can't get an objective for it. But maybe he's banking on finding it soon. I think we already saw it somewhere. Whether I think it was either Jerky Trade, which he can do, or Snail Stop, which he can also do. Phone gets a C trigger from Reptite Lair, so that opens up the Beckler check, where you would get the clone in the vanilla game. So we'll see if he uses that. We're gonna keep eyes on Phone, see where he goes. I can't imagine these two are gonna have trouble getting through these bosses. Nizbel's Electrocute does hurt quite a bit. But it looks like Pseudo's pretty well prepared for it. He had some Lightning Absorb. Robo has his ribbon, so he didn't get immediately one shot anyway. Phone's gonna see what this Beckler item is. It's a Jets of Time. So because he's already got flight, there's really no reason to have that. So he's gonna nope out of that. So a nice 4,200 damage fire tackle for Pseudo there. He may very well be just about end game ready. You just gotta find a path to it at this point. Phone looking a little indecisive, not sure where he wants to go yet. Going back to the fair, possibly going for Woe. He maybe just realized he didn't have his 12,000 time gauge. So how do you get that, you ask? Well, you can either go through Magus's castle, which will give it to you, or go through the Tyranno Lair gate, which we don't know where that is. It can be like on the other side of like the Proto Dome gate, for example. It could be in the vanilla spot, so we'd have to do Tyranno Lair to get there. Again, this behavior has been made default moving forward, so anytime you get the epoch in a seed like this, you're just gonna have 12,000. It's gonna solve that little headache. Looks like Pseudo got the pendant, so we may see like a pendant charge check. Of course, Pseudo just now realizing he doesn't have 12,000 either. We're all being burned by this today. Phone going through Mount Woe. Grey Goo Glitch coming up on the end of their Blackbird. So we'll see where they go. Phone is kind of playing catch up here with this. Pseudo going through gates, it looks like, to maybe find End of Time, potentially. Maybe find their 12,000 time gauge access as well. So we've been through, gosh, 6 gates at this point. So the only ones left on the table are like Proto Dome, Truce Canyon, and the Tyranno Layer one, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, realistically, if he checks this gate here, it'll probably give him one of the things he's looking for, whether that's end of time or 12,000 time gauge. If he gets end of time, he's that much closer to finishing the seed, just because he can go to Lavos with only 4 objectives. I think he's got 3 right now. He would just need to do like Reptite Lair, Genodome, get the seed for Eris Dome possibly. He's okay, so he's got end of time. So he's in my assessment, like the closest to end game logically of anybody. Grey Goo Glitch also checking the North Cape, sees there's no character there. I thought they were resetting, but maybe their screen just went black for some reason. So they're gonna fight the Aussie trio, it looks like. Get the levels, no character though. Okay, now they're resetting. So unfortunately, because you know we're so much farther into the progression, the logic, it looks like Phone is gonna have some trouble getting through Red Knight. Yeah, he's got a lot more HP than he would otherwise have. He can't really rely on like his Doom anymore to get through it. So we're just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Maybe struggle a little bit. Grey Goo immediately going for Proto Dome. Gonna get that Marl. So, you know, while we are diverging a little bit, at least in terms of party composition, everybody's kind of gonna look the same for the time being. These 3 characters, in my assessment, are probably good enough to get through the run. So they may just stop here, and we may see like a 3-way Robo Magus Marl endgame. They've got like really good fire tackle, ice tackle. They got some other things that are gonna be nice, like the 777s on the scythe, which may not see a lot of play in Lavos, but it could have some use. Ribbon is available, so we've got, you know, less stuff to fish for. Like that extra magic defense and speed is worth easily like 10 levels on Robo. It's just that good. I'm not sure if Grey Goo went through the sewers or not. I don't think they did. So I'm looking at this Phone. I think if he goes through the 680 gate, he'll have access to Lavos after this. If he doesn't go for the gate, he'll have to do another objective, I believe, which will then get him his 1999 time gauge. Grey Goo Glitch also checking gates, seeing if they can find end of time or 12,000 or whatever the case may be. Pseudo looks like he's kind of doing like some end game prep, doing a lot of shopping. Going to 12,000. I'm not 100% sure why. Guess we'll see. Maybe for shops. Maybe I don't know. I guess I'll wait and see. I can't think of like a definitive reason for doing this. Grey Goo Glitch going up Denadoro. Good chest density there. You can get like some really good items if you need them. Pseudo either thinking, he looks like he was just thinking. Still thinking. Okay, so he was probably running through like the same thought process I was, like what do I do here? Pseudo possibly going for Reptite Lair. While he's contemplating, I'm gonna give a little speech here. In this seed, we've got Vanilla Charms. Unfortunately, no Ayla, but the reason I bring that up is in the vanilla game, Ruminators, if you charm them, you'll get a Mega Elixir. It's kind of a tragedy that we don't have Ayla here, but it is what it is. So Pseudo, I believe, doing his 4th objective now. He does have end of time access, so that will get him access to Lavos. He may or may not just be able to finish the game out right here. He might be lacking a little bit of party power, possibly. But just looking at, you know, what the party is, the ribbon, the text, the status immunity that we've been able to find, I think he can probably make it work. Phone should be able to access Lavos after finishing this boss, so they're kind of on par. The only difference is Pseudo has end of time access and Phone has not looked for it. So Pseudo, I would say, has the advantage there. But otherwise, you know, aside from Phone's lack of end of time, they're pretty much in the same place in terms of progression. So Pseudo, I imagine, is going to make quick work of this boss. 5,000 damage fire tackle was very good. He's got a haste on Robo as well, so it's not going to take very long. Phone also throwing out the haste. He's gonna punch that dragon tank to death. So, kind of looking at, you know, the top right and the bottom left corner here to see where this is gonna go. Grey Goo Glitch is not necessarily like that far behind, but I think missing like a couple objectives, missing ribbon, which would be very important for actually finishing the run. But still doing like an admirable job, in all honesty. You know, considering the competition, you know, the relative experience levels, especially like in a racing context. Grey Goo Glitch, you know, understands the game, doesn't necessarily race it though. So might be feeling like a little bit of pressure, understandably so. So it looks like Pseudo is the first to kind of unlock their Lavos path. We'll see what he does with it. He may just dive straight into it. He may do a little bit of prep first, maybe get a few more levels. We'll see. Looks like shopping, possibly. Phone dealing with the dragon tank. Those that know me know, you know, I advocate for certain bosses to be kind of more engaging. Dragon Tank, Mud Imp, R series. I like when they don't just immediately die, just because it gives you, you know, a little bit more of a challenge. They've all got their own unique mechanics. It's interesting, you know, the ways you can try to handle those. Pseudo looks like maybe wants a little bit of extra experience. He's just killing what he can. We're gonna see what Dalton drops, if anything. A little bit later than Pseudo, but Phone should have his bucket unlocked. I think he's one objective off from the time gauge as well, which just because he hasn't uncovered end of time yet, he may just go for something like that. Grey Goo Glitch, I think, got the seed, so they'll be getting an objective here as well. So what have they done? They've done Epoch Boss, Mount Woe. They've done should be Aristome at this point. I think just 3 objectives, unless I've missed something. So they'll be 1 objective off if they find end of time. Making their way through this Nizbel here. Phone, not sure where he's going just yet. Pseudo maybe looking for some extra grind, extra equipment from these chests. Phone, it looks like he's going for Aristome, so he's gonna get his time gauge, go to Lavos that way. So realistically, he might come into Lavos, obviously with less of the boss to fight. Also, maybe like a level advantage, potentially. So we're gonna potentially see a high 5 here with Phone and Grey Goo Glitch. Goo, interestingly, going for the Antipode 2. 2700 damage is pretty good. Pseudo definitely still going for some levels. He's gonna do Sun Palace here. We got a spawn of some sort. Regular Lavos spawn, the easier of the Lavos spawns. It gives a lot of tech points, so if he's wanting to like max out his techs if he hasn't already, this would probably be the place to do it. That hit for a lot of damage on 2 of these screens here. Grey Goo Glitch, Pseudo both kind of bleeding out right now. Lavos spawn needles, Nizbel discharge, not to be underestimated. They're both very strong. Thankfully, Lavos spawn doesn't have a lot of HP, and Pseudo just blasts it with Fire Tackle, gets through it. Phone's working on his Nizbel now. We got a Masamune for Pseudo. I don't remember if there was a character at the burrow. I guess we'll see. Looking at the key items, I think there probably was. Just because I don't see like a key item that I don't know the source of. So for those not in the know, the burrow, if there's no character there, the key item is free. You can just open the chest. Grey Goo Glitch gets through Nizbel. Has 2 characters down, so they're gonna miss out on some levels, which is not ideal. You get probably on average 4 or 5 levels per boss. Get a tech level increase in that chest as well. I didn't see who it was for. We got tools. So I mean, if you have a character down and you kill a boss, say they're level 35, well, the boss level is going to increase by 3 or 6 or 7, depending on if there's objectives or key items behind them. Their party is going to go up to 40, but that one character is still going to be 35. So it kind of creates an issue where, if you were dying before you were 5 levels behind, you're probably going to die again. It's going to be hard to keep that character alive as the bosses get harder and harder. Additionally, with Lavos, you really want to get to that endgame level of power. So, just having the revives on deck at least to get them up right before you do the finishing blow would be good. Phone, just surviving by the skin of his teeth to that discharge. Again, we've seen it on all 3 players now that Nizbel is just a legitimate threat, not to be underestimated. We saw a hammer arm go on to Robo for Pseudo there. It may have like a good effect on it, like leech or possibly magic defense, speed or something. That'll maybe make Robo survive Lavos a little bit better. Interesting quirk. I mentioned it earlier. Robo Tackle does not like care what weapon you're wearing. It doesn't inherit like the doom effects. It doesn't inherit the weapon's power. Nothing like that. So, you know, if you're leaning into Ice Tackle, Fire Tackle, anything Robo Tackle based, obviously magic as well. What your weapon is doesn't really matter. So, you know, while I didn't see what the weapon had, I'm sure Pseudo had a very good reason to do so. Phone catching the rat, you don't need to go to the back to finish the objective, but there's like a free chest there. If you got the charge pendant, there's like 5 more at the back. So Pseudo, first one to start Lavos at about 115. It is vanilla, so that means the first form only has like 10,000 HP. It's not much of a threat. Like, if you can't get through the shell, you weren't going to win anyway. Phone gets the clone. He could do Death Peak if he wanted, but I think he's also just going to go for Lavos once he gets his prep. So, you know, Pseudo advantage, but, you know, if he struggles to get through the boss, if he wipes, if Phone just has something more powerful in his back pocket, he could certainly make up the difference here. Goo also getting pretty close to Lavos. This might be their 5th objective, 4th possibly. So, you know, despite some different routing in the opening after getting flight, we're all kind of coming together at the end. And that's something that you see quite a bit with this randomizer, just because like there's many paths to the end game, and you're always making some kind of progress, whether it's levels or equipment, objectives, what have you. You know, it's not necessarily like going to cause you to lose if you take a different route from somebody else. Phone doing some prep. It looks like he's getting some status immunity. Being a little overly cautious, I would say, but you know, if you can't get through the boss, then that's a problem. Just, you know, taking an extra minute or 2 to guarantee that you can do it is not a bad thing. So Pseudo is the first to get to like the significant brick wall. The nipple lasers that it opens with, you don't get a turn before it goes out, so you know, it's kind of a binary thing. You either get through it or you don't, and you know that's kind of like the metric you can use to determine if you can actually beat the boss or not. Just because like Shadow Doomblaze is a comparable kind of power level. Dreamless on the Lavos 3 fight is also around that level of power. So if you can get through the lasers, realistically, unless you like run out of MP or get like unlucky or something, you can probably do the entire boss. So you're looking for like, you know, good magic defense. 80 is generally considered safe. You can push it like 70s even, or even lower if you do like a green dream or just revive the character or something. Like if they're, you know, strong enough to justify the turns spent healing them, it's generally considered, you know, not a bad strategy. Other stuff you can do, with low magic defense, you can do like, Dino Tail, Frog Squash, and, the dual and triple techs derived from that. There are some weapons where you might do more damage if you're missing HP. I don't think we've seen any of those this run. At least not, like, actively in use. So Pseudo gets through the first arm. When the first arm goes down, it's going to heal the face, which you're not damaging the face anyway, that doesn't really matter, but after that it's going to delete your status protection, so you really want both arms to go down near the same time. The left arm's got 8,000, the right arm's got 12,000, so, I mean, you could do like 4,000 to the right arm and then just AoE them down, or just kind of keep track of, what arm is at what HP level, and just not having to heal off poison and confuse and all that. Spend more turns attacking. It's really worth the trouble to do that. Phone is heading for Lavos. He's starting about one phase behind from the looks of things. It's a little bit unclear. Well, what is he doing? He went to End of Time. He's being indecisive. He's not sure if he's quite ready yet. Which could cost him dearly if Pseudo continues just absolutely cleaning this up. We're through Lavos 2 now. About to start Lavos 3. So the face on Lavos 2 has 20,000 HP, so if you're coming from like Jets of Time, that's, twice as much. With that in mind, like you are likely going to, get at least one cycle of Shadow Doom Blaze, so you want to know, the Confuse is going out, there's going to be a poison after that. You can kind of recover from there, get ready for the Shadow Doom Blaze if you have to, if you can't kill it that fast. The Shadow Doom Blaze is more or less like exactly the same strength as the nipple lasers, so you kind of, use that to gauge what you need to get through Shadow Doom Blaze. If you got a status ailment, you'll take more damage. You'll do less damage, so it's good to heal those off. Pseudo gets the menu glitch going into Lavos 3. So, phone heading for the boss. He's gonna have to pull some maneuvers to catch up to Pseudo, but it can happen. Lavos 3 has been known to just kill people outright. Grey Goo glitch also going straight to Lavos, it looks like. So, we've got 3 people on the last boss, each one on a different phase. Anything could happen. We could open up with Grandstone and Lightning and just wipe Pseudo out immediately. There's 2 possibilities, mostly. He either opens with like the status effect or opens with the Grandstone. Pseudo going for a left bit strat here. Left bit's only got 2,000, middle bit's got 10,000, right bit's got 30,000, so if you got like strong AoE, or if you just really want to get into the burn phase quickly, killing the left one is a good option. That does leave you open to getting trolled by the middle bit a little bit more, but Pseudo, he got lucky. He got the status phase. He's got full status protect, so he's gonna possibly soften up the middle bit, get it ready to push over maybe when the left bit comes back up, so he can keep a damage phase rolling. I think that's what he's doing. Let's take a look at what Phone's doing. So, like, 6 fire and ice tackles. That right bit's gonna go down. Pseudo's gonna clean this up. We can't rule out the possibility that Lavos trolls him, but he's looking pretty strong right now. So Phone doing a little bit of healing here. Presumably setting up the arms to be knocked down near the same time. Grey Goo should be getting through this phase pretty soon here, I would think. Still using the Antipode too. Maybe having Robo as a healer is kind of the strategy. So middle bit goes down. Pseudo's looking quite safe here. Even if the left bit randomly kills somebody here, I don't think he's in any real danger. Phone gets the right arm down. He's going to go for the left arm. It should go down right after this. Grey Goo glitch, moving on to phase 2. Loss of status protection on Marl for Pseudo there. Phone's on phase 2. Obstacle goes out. He should be safe from this. Pseudo gonna throw a Mega to get his recovery. This boss should go down any turn now. The defense goes back up. It's going to come right back down in a couple seconds. This may be the last attack here. Grey Goo jumping out, perhaps doing some healing prep or something. I'm gonna try their hand at Lavos 2 again. So that would be a kill for Pseudo. Congratulations to him, GG's. That was like a 125.53 or 4. I'll get the exact time when I go back and review it. Just as Phone gets through Lavos 2, Grey Goo is going to attempt Lavos 2. So I'll kind of keep an eye on what Phone's doing. Do some commentary, see what Grey Goo glitch is doing. But in the meantime, I'm gonna talk at you. So we're doing a seed of the week once every week, rolling typically like Saturday, Sunday. It's open to anybody that wants to participate. Anybody that submits like a stream or a VOD will be included in these videos. If we have too many submissions, I'll just remove myself from them and let other people have the fun. It's a good learning tool. We can kind of compare notes, see how we handled certain situations. It's not like a big competition tournament or anything. We're just having fun with it. Getting the bragging rights if we win, whatever. Every week the flag set is going to change. This week we did, an entrance shuffle. A gate shuffle. All the stuff I talked about at the beginning. Week 2, as of the time of this video, is up right now. If you want to participate, jump on ctrando.com. We've got a link to the Discord. And you can find it there. We can help you, get set up with that. Show you how to use the bot, how to roll the seeds and whatnot. And we hope to see you there. It's a good time. For week 2 settings, we changed it up a little bit. We made charms random. We put in some of the changes, like gates must always go to a different time period. The time gauge is always gonna have 12,000 after you get flight. So it will play out a little bit differently. Obviously, a seed can just roll different as well. I'm not gonna give away how it's played out, but I had some fun with it. So Grey Goo glitch, unfortunately, I'm experiencing the pain of the nipple lasers without having the level of magic defense maybe they wanted. Didn't quite work out. Notably, if they had the Robo Ribbon, if that Marl wasn't level 41, I think they could have got through it there. So they're gonna have to do just a little bit of extra prep to get through it. We've all done it, especially in a high pressure situation where you're, playing the seed that other people are playing, racing, whatever you want to call it. You can try to be a little aggressive, see if it works. If it doesn't, just a learning experience, no big deal. So phone, he seems to be doing fine. He had stop on Robo, but he's putting in some damage, certainly. He's probably pretty safe here. He's got haste out on 2 characters. Good amount of damage output. He's got his status protect mostly. Grey Goo, kind of contemplating what they want to do. If they want to maybe find a character, look for the Robo ribbon, just get some extra levels. Like I said, had that Marl and Magus not been dead for those bosses, their levels may have been sufficient to get through this. So with that in mind, maybe gonna farm up some levels. It definitely pays to have your characters alive. Could very well have been, wrapping up the seed right about now. In a different timeline where those characters were alive, the ribbon, whatever. I'm definitely looking forward to see how they run it back. The next seed they run. We all we've all been challenged in some of these runs. We've all done some things that didn't quite work out. It's part of the fun. I probably wipe on average at least like 2-3 times per run, just trying silly things, aggressive stuff like berserker strats. And it works. It really works. When it doesn't, you die. Stuff like Rust Tyranno, trying to get through it without fire protection so I don't have to reset and equip it. Doesn't always work. Trying to solo like earlier this run with the Retinite and Robo, not necessarily a good thing. I had a reset there. I think that's the only one I had. I'm not sure. So I think about a 132.10 for phone here. So I'm gonna chill out on the commentary a little bit. I'll let Grey Goo Glitch just play their audio for the rest of the seed, see how they're doing. I think I've covered pretty much what I need to cover. Once again, we've got a seed of the week every weekend. It's going to go up. Week 2 is up as of the recording of this. Week 3, we're going to change up the settings pretty significantly. I haven't revealed exactly what it's going to be just yet, but we've got some new settings being put on the bot that haven't been revealed yet. I'm going to heavily utilize those. It's going to be a more traditional run. It's going to be not gate shuffle. There's going to be an epoch at the start, so it's definitely going to be a little more open-ended, a little more predictable in terms of like what's available to you. As for like the rest of the settings, I'll let that be a surprise. So again, looking forward to seeing more people join these. We had a few people that were going to run it, but they just didn't have time. It kind of fell through. Completely understandable. So I'm gonna sign out here. I'm gonna let Goo take over. Thanks for stopping by. Hope it was fun. And again, hope to see you out there playing some seeds. Maybe you'll be in the next video. Who knows?
Vanilla Play Plus. All right. Is this even randomized?
I mean, either way, this is definitely a good call for damage. For experience and all that. Getting some levels on everybody's gonna help, and this should give us some experience. Or not even that much. Oh my god. Yes, we know Ozzy. Come on. Ozzy, you insufferable douche. We're still in Markov Go mode. We are, in fact, Go mode. Yeah, I think I've hosed myself. I was having a really good run, and then I got overconfident. Okay, yep. It's Crawley. It wasn't really, I mean, okay, it wasn't necessarily overconfidence. It was mostly a... I thought that I could do something. I guess it was kind of overconfidence, but at the same time, it was mostly just, I wasn't gonna know if I could do it until I tried. And now I know. I can't bring Robo in there underleveled. He'll just get stomped. Just throw ice on them. And the fact is, we just don't have the healing items, the MP items, or basically anything else we need to make that fight work. So I need to make up for it by, you know, leveling up a bit. Or finding other characters, honestly. Alright, we're not fighting. Yeah, I'm sure it's something like I missed something obvious. And part of me is just like, should I just throw in the towel now? Like, I'm clearly frustrated and behind, and I'm not sure how to approach the end of this. That's the problem. I've done so much, and I'm like not sure where I really should go or what I should do. Alright, let's check out Sewer from the backside and see if I can see if it's Atropos. Again, I just need that ribbon so that Robo doesn't feel terrible. It's Atropos. Oh, there's Atropos. So we found Atropos. Yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out what the hell I'm supposed to do at this point. I definitely need health and stuff, but... Hey, Seth, welcome on in! Thank you for entrusting me with your community. I do truly appreciate it. Hell yeah. Asgard's gonna give it to you. How was your evening? Hope you're having a fantastic day. We are just doing some Chrono Trigger Rando, Dalton, Imperial. We're almost done with it, but, you know. Don't punch people. Atropos, stop being you for a second, and like, don't punch people. They don't deserve it. What's your... Alright, whatever, it's fine. Atropos is just being mean and punching Robo. Nobody needs that. Oh, she's gonna blow up and we're gonna lose Magus. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Probably fine. Should've healed up. That was my own fault. Okay, so speed and magic defense by 10. That solves one of our problems for the most part. We have to find Atropos if we're gonna be doing Robo for endgame. Or at least try to. Yeah, my biggest mistake was thinking that there were mini-bosses in Magus's castle. Clearly that's not the case, but... We're gonna heal, and we're gonna try doing this again. With the Green Dream, with the magic defense, that should help a bunch. And then we'll just, if we can survive that first bit, we can put some stuff up. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the model, I commissioned that through Mulgato. It's really, really, really well done. And the background, like the office part, that was done by the lovely and talented Domino Luterum. She's fantastic. Made some really awesome art for the channel. Also made the other custom stick art that I have that I'm putting in my Comba Obsidian Q2, I think is the name for it. Or Q2 Obsidian. I don't remember which one it is. But yeah, it's the arcade stick that I've been using primarily as my main arcade stick. I now have like all of the stuff for that. I can finally build it out. But yeah, Domina made some really, really cool stuff. Alright, let's try this one more time. I think this will solve the problem. I think most of my problem is that I need to, like, really clean up my movement and clean up my routing. My routing through this was pretty garbage. I really should have tried to focus on getting Atropos before attempting this. We're slightly under, but I think we'll be able to survive that. Just gotta get through phase 1 without using a Mega Elixir. And our damage is low though too. That's the biggest problem too. We don't really have a strong, and we could do Flame Tackle, but we don't have a lot of MP generation. Okay, so our first step is gonna have to be sort of getting everyone back to full health. Robo should survive this? Yes, Robo survived it this time. Okay, we're just gonna toss out a Lapis. You're gonna do Heal Beam. You're gonna cast Haste on Magus. And then Magus is gonna follow up by putting his barrier on everybody. So that'll take care of magic attacks without a problem. And we just gotta keep tossing out heals then, which we should be able to do pretty frequently. So, you are gonna cast Magic Wall on yourself. Heal Beam, you're gonna haste Robo. I gotta say, big AoE heals out of Robo is pretty great. Yeah, the reason we're not focusing on protecting Marley so much right now is because she's still got her re-raise, so... Okay, cool. Now everyone's got full magic resistance, or at least as much magic resistance as we can muster. And she hastes herself, now we're all hasted as well. So, I should be able to do Flame Tackle on those arms multiple times, and just drop elixirs on Magus to do this. That should work. Should probably work. Like, 80% chance it'll work. That should do a lot less damage now. And not a lot less. It did enough less. You throw ice on that. You throw out a heal beam, and you throw fire to normal. Alright, this should break that arm and get us back to full health. No broken arm. Don't love that. Fuck, it's outside a laser spin. Annabelle 2 still hits pretty hard. Yeah. You know, you think you're cool. Okay, that mid-ether on you is gonna be useful. Nice. I don't think we're gonna... I don't know how well we're gonna do with this. I'm probably not gonna survive this fight, but... I'll survive this phase, but probably not. Third phase. Or third, Lavas 3. It's the lack of, like, major damage that we have. For physical, we don't have a lot. I mean... we're not doing terribly. We do need to heal Marley. She needs help, like, pretty freaking bad. And she doesn't have status defense now because it was removed from her. It's more effective for him to throw a quads, trip sevens than it is for him to burn fire 2 elsewhere in some other way. That hits real hard. Yeah, we need Marley to heal herself, I think. She's still got Ray Race. I might let her just go. Might just let her go down. I'm gonna let her go down after casting ice. And then we'll follow up with an elixir. Okay. We're gonna burn a Mega Elixir early, I think. That's not what you want to Shit, she's dead. Oh, that's right. It's fine. I forgot that we had the re-raise. It's fine. Robo Tackle do 5.4. Yeah, just do an easy punch. It's fine. Flame Tackle. Okay. Prism Dress. Are you serious? Oh. I guess we're going for menu glitch. we're definitely going for menu glitch. I don't think we're gonna get it, but we're gonna go for it. Yeah. Text boxes, text boxes, text boxes. Got it! Hell yeah. Prism Dress instantly gives her a barrier. So that's fucking huge. Okay, I mean, otherwise, we're just, I don't know, floating in the breeze right now. I ain't got nothing. Let's just use our items that we've got to just top up. Everyone's topped up on health. Got a little bit of MP loss, but everything else is fine. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna do... Hold up. Not the thing... Not the person I wanted to have that happen food first. We'll do that. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. You didn't die! Good job not dying. Cure 2 Let's just get Magus back up. He can't die. If he dies, it's bad. Is that enough to kill it? Yes! Yes! Fire tackle in the middle. You haste on you. Okay, I think we might have this. Okay. This could be worse. Not much worse, but it could be worse. Okay. 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 Life 2. Mega Elixir. Let's just reset everything. I think that we've... Oh, no. Nope. Still alive. Still alive. Easy punch. Haste yourself. We need to kill the middle bit. Definitely need to kill the middle bit. Evil Star's fine. Evil Star's absolutely fine. Fire tackle. Do it. Do it. Ooh, okay. Okay. Middle bit dead. Just start wailing on that right now. As soon as... Okay. It's got its power back. Means the revive is gonna start. Okay. Fire tackle. Haste both of them. We need to get them both hasted. Like, right now. We will have Marley cast a Mega Elixir the second that revive goes off. And that will give us the opportunity to try and take out the middle bit quick. Okay, hold on. Here's the thing, right? I'm debating the merits of not just going for murdering this bit outright. How much health does it have left? 18,000. 18,000 left. They're doing 4,000 a hit. It's our Magus. Okay, nope, we can't do that damage. We need... Oh, it's gonna suck, it's gonna suck, it's gonna suck. Absolutely fucking suck. Okay, you are going to Uzi punch that. You physical attack that. A good elixir. Both of you fire tackle. Oh, this is so high stakes. Why do I suck at this game so bad? Fire tackle, please, please die, please die, please die, please die, please die, please die, please. For the love of God, die. If you die right now, I'll be so happy. Yes! Oh, yes, let's go! Let's fucking go! Okay, I think we've got this. I think we have it. It hasn't gotten its shield back yet. We burnt it so quickly that it hasn't gotten the shield back yet. Okay, that's fine. That's completely fine. Okay, lose the shield. Fire tackle. Oh. Come on. We can do this. We can do this. We are so fucking close. Okay, let me put it this way. We are going to do this. At this point, we're not doing anything but attacking the bit. And getting his MP back up. So it's just going to be fire tackle, and that should be it. We'll probably throw an ice for good measure, but that's fine. Oh. Oh, that was the end of it. Fuck me. Alright. 1 hour, 57, 51. Okay, fun. What was your time, by the way? I does this have to know what was your time? Oh, I'm curious. I'm gonna submit my time, obviously. Oh, yeah, cool. Let me do that right now then, actually. Half a second, everybody, so I can go submit my time. Where? Half a second, everybody. The code for doing that's, exclamation point. Oh, exclamation point done. Got it. One, 7, 51. Yeah, probably. I did okay. I did okay. Wait, where's the message? Mm, looking for the time. I can't see if I can see it. Oh, okay. So Sudwart crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. Why am I not seeing your time? It don't matter. Either way, I did okay. It was all right. Yeah, no, that's good. Oh, you finished it in 132. Yeah, absolutely. If I had if I had the ribbon at the start, I probably could have done it. And if we didn't have that bad run with Marley losing health or losing experience, we probably would have been fine. But yeah, so that's it. So yeah, I was still slow by a lot. Like I ended up losing out a lot of time going back and doing that Magus fights that I shouldn't have been doing in the first place. And in doing the mini boss hunting for ribbon, that was really the big thing. Otherwise, I think I made decent calls for routing. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad. And either way, I am going to wrap that up right now. So I will.
It's me again. So once again, ctrando.com. It was a good finish for Goo there. Kind of on the same wavelength as far as what could have been done differently there. Certainly having those levels, getting that ribbon. I think they could have finished, within a reasonable amount of time with the rest of us. They were on Lavos 2 at the same time we were doing Lavos, so it was up there for sure. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.